Hi there, Jason here for the Bayon channel and the Minasbad Shop Talks. We're here for another episode on blade culture, a conversation on blade culture. Last time we talked about the various multi-tool and folder profiles. We talked about the balisong, we talked about the bolo, particularly the wastari, and the benefits of steel carrying a full-length bolo when you are off-grid or outdoors hiking, camping, even if you already have a multi-tool or a folder in your EDC pouch or bag-out bag. We said that the balisong is our answer to the folder culture of the West. And we said that even if the balisong is very much associated with Batangas and the Philippines, there are people, scholars, who are saying that the balisong could have been from France. However, some of our blade scholars would say that perhaps our propagandists, Jose Rizal, Antonio Luna, Juan Luna, when they went to Spain, brought with them a balisong, causing it to be what? To be popular in said area as well. Okay. Last time I said that I would be polishing or cleaning a particular set of Wastari blades. Now let me show you the said blades. I'm done cleaning them. So here's the first one, the longer one. Alright. Let me show you the blade. There. I'll show you the blade. After polishing, we have here Carabao horn hilt carved as pinaniki with bronze barat, bronze tikala, 5160 carbon steel blade, scabbard made of a premium wood we call barayong, and with bronze bakurong or scabbard locks. Now let me show you the shorter blade, shorter Wastari blade, the Wastari knife here. Okay, done cleaning it as well. All right, with the scabbard, and it also features what? It also features Pianiki hilt. However, it has bronze gardation or handguard. So there. We said that it's still important to carry what? To carry full-length bolo for cutting vegetation, clearing pathways in trails, for defense. Okay, especially for wild animals such as snakes. However, we must take note that snakes only attack when they are cornered, and also for you carry longer blades for Philippine martial arts purposes, FMA purposes, and for its historical and cultural significance. Now, talking of bolos, what could be the ultimate Bicol blade or bolo, since this is a Bicol blade channel as well? Now, the answer to that is, of course, the Minasbad. And here's another question. What are the various Minasbad profiles? I can show you some samples here. This one, first, vintage, really very long. This belonged to my paternal grandfather, the late Lieutenant Procopio Llagas of the US Navy. As you can see, this features the so-called tinalisay hilt carving, and we have here wooden hilt. We show you the blade itself. Right, let's enjoy the blade. It's quite long. There, as I said, it has the so-called so-called Tinalisay hilt. This has bronze, no. This has iron ferrule or tikala and round tip. So this is a native Bikol Minasbad. Native Bikol Minasbad. Next sample would be this one here. I'll show it to you. There. Now let me open it for you. Round tip as well. Alright, round tip as well. And with Kinabayo hilt. Okay. Water buffalo hilt carved as a horse head, Kinabayo. Okay. Or carabao horn, if you may. And it has bronze barat and fittings, bronze fittings on the eyes and the ears. Older versions, no, antiques would have fittings on this area as well. It has bronze sagang or handguard, bronze ferrule or tikala. You can observe from here the manok-manok or the serration. The serration. The purpose of the sagang is, of course, to defend your hand, to cover your hand, and to also defang your opponent. Defang or remove the blade of your opponent from his hand. You can also observe the so-called burda or the so-called labor on the blade. So usually a minasbad has a really thick spine like this one. It's a thick spine, it tapers so as we go to the tip. This one has the traditional or the usual elements of Cimarron Minasbad with kamba, this one, and the hair for wiping off blood after a sword fight. Okay, this also has the so-called bronze bakurong or scabbard locks. Another one is this baby here. Alright, the same hilt carving, only that the handguard is made of iron, and the profile is that of the so-called saber type wide. Older versions of the minasbad would usually have iron handguard or sagang and not bronze. Here's another one. This is also a saber type minasbad, saber type thin, or the so-called pinaldus. This one also features bronze handguard. This is also a vintage sample of the minasbad. What else could be gleaned upon in this particular work of art? The tres cantos spine. It may look weak to you, but actually it is not, because the spine on this particular area, very near the base, is really very thick. Alright. It looks like a triangle. This is the so-called pinaldus, minasbad. Reputed to be one of the favorite swords of the Bikol Cimarrones. We'll talk about the Cimarrones in some other episode soon, next time. So there. Now the question now is, what could be the rationale? The rationale for the blade profiles that we have seen. Now, there is an account by William Henry Scott, all right, the historian William Henry Scott, that according to the Spanish records, they found the Bicolanos fighting using their kris and their baid. I'm gonna show you a sample of a baid in some future episode. So it mentioned, the account mentioned kris. It made the scholar, a scholar, opine that perhaps the Minasbad came later, came later during the Spanish occupation or Spanish regime already. Perhaps due to the presence of the handguard. Perhaps due to the saber-like profile of the blade. There. In that the Minasbad actually was developed much later because of the Moro raids. However, that's only a what? That's only one finding. As per the Minasbad's round tip, there are what? Three theories on that particular topic. First one is that the Minasbad has round tip because it was a what? It was a blade for the miners. It was a blade for the miners. It's a mining blade. It's used to slash and as well as dig the ground. Because there's a theory or there's a claim that the Minasbad actually came from Masbate or Masbad. From Masbate or Masbad. And you know very well when the Spaniards came, Masbate was one of the islands very rich in gold. They actually found the natives or the locals working on mining some gold in the island. Another theory as to why the Minasbad has round tip is the so-called tactical theory. That when you are the Cimarrones, when they were indulge in sword fights, they would obscure the vision of their opponent by digging on the ground and then using stones and soil as projectile. So they would stab the ground and then use the stones and soil as projectile to obscure the vision of the opponent. And then lastly, another theory is that it came as a prohibition. It came as a regulation by the Spanish colonial government. For the Cimarrones or the Bicolanos to refrain from carrying very very unfriendly blades, or blades with pointed tip. However, this theory is usually disputed because the Bicolanos also carried blades with pointed tip, such as the ginunting. It also has what pointed tip. I'll show you a sample of the Bikol ginunting in some future episode. Now the question now is, um, what are the parts of a minasbad? And I think we already discussed that in this particular video. So another question would be, what are the other Bicol blade profiles? What are the other Bicol blade profiles? So I think we better discuss that next time. So join us again for another For another episode on blade culture in the next time. Thank you. Be safe.